start?
Yes, we have nine. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
Good afternoon, members of Parliament, support staff, radio listeners, TV viewers, those following via social media, and members of the media. Welcome to the continuation of this public meeting number 19 of the parliamentary year 2022-23, today Friday, October 13, 2023. I would like to give a special welcome to the Prime Minister and Minister of General Affairs, Ms. Sylvia Jacobs, and her support staff. We have established a quorum of 9 members. Please stand for a moment of silence. Thank you. I have received notice of absence from the following members: MP Melissa Gumbs, MP Akeem Arundel, MP Chanel Brownbill, MP Christopher Emmanuel, and MP Rolando Bryson. Does any member have, any other member of Parliament have notification? And I see MP Grisha Heyliger-Marten. MP Grisha Heyliger-Marten, you have the floor.
Good. Mr. Chairman, I don't think the mics are working. They're not working because I couldn't hear you either. Hello, hello, hello? Testing, testing. Testing, testing. Very low, Mr. Chairman. Maybe we should maybe adjourn? Testing, testing. Yes? Yes. Do you want to, I don't think it was recorded.
So restart it.
I think you need to restart it.
I'll adjourn for 2 minutes and reopen the meeting. Good afternoon, members of Parliament, support staff, radio listeners, TV viewers, those following via social media, and members of the media. Welcome to the continuation of this public meeting number 19 of the parliamentary year 2022-23, today Friday, October 13, 2023. I would like to give a special welcome to the Prime Minister and Minister of General Affairs, Ms. Sylvia Jacobs, and her support staff. We have established a quorum of 9 members. Please stand for a moment of silence. Thank you. I have received notice of absence from the following members: MP Melissa Gumbs, MP Akeem Arundel, MP Chanel Brownbill, MP Christopher Emmanuel, and MP Rolando Bryson. Does any other member of Parliament have notification? And I know it's MP Grisha Heyliger-Marten. MP Grisha Heyliger-Marten, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. It's still low, but anyway, well, I guess we'll just have to go with that. I'll speak in the mic. Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman, to you. Good afternoon to my fellow colleagues, and good afternoon to the Prime Minister and her support staff. Mr. Chairman, I'm not sure if it's possible. I know right now, Mr. Chairman, oh, and sorry, good afternoon to those listening and viewing online. Good afternoon to you, say Martin. Mr. Chairman, I'm not sure if it's possible to maybe get, maybe in the Prime Minister's introductory remark through you, Mr. Chairman, if we can get a brief elucidation from the Prime Minister, seeing that we're now in the second round and we're unable to pose any extra questions and just pose clarifications, but if the Prime Minister could maybe give us a little brief elucidation on if indeed the TELEM management team met with the COM to explain them on this regarding the meeting that they had with their staff regarding referencing the cutting off of the restructuring of the company and also the laying off of some of the staff. If the Prime Minister could maybe give us a little brief elucidation as to what is going to be taking place there and what is the reason for that, just an update, because I know I won't be able to ask any more questions, so I'm just asking if that's a possibility, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
Thank you, MP Grisha Heyliger-Marten. Prime Minister is present here. She has heard your point, and I hope if she feels right, she will have the answers for you. The next person, MP George Pantherplet. MP George, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good afternoon to the Chair, my colleagues in Parliament, our Honourable Prime Minister and our support staff, persons who are viewing and listening by the available medium. Mr. Chairman, I just want to use this time of notification to bring to our attention, I believe most of us or some of us would know about it, as to what is taking place at present in Israel regards to they say Hamas, they don't say Palestine, but it has to do with Palestine and Israel, where there's unfortunately a war going on, which for some of us, if we have been following, it is not something of today. You're talking about 60 years, this has been ongoing, and all of us have our own opinion. I have my own regards to why and how it is taking place. But the thing is, Mr. Chairman, which is unfortunate, is the loss of lives of innocent civilians who are caught up in this confusion of, unfortunately, power struggle and domination and isolation. Mr. Chairman, I do hope that those in power would come to understand and realize that very often through this kind of action, you don't get an easy solution. They should sit down and dialogue and try to find some means of coming to some agreement in order to prevent the bloodshed. Mr. Chairman, on another note, Mr. Chairman, I also mentioned the issue of our brothers and sisters of the island of Haiti. Again, we have heard that the gangs took over now. They plan to send in an army or assistance in order to repel or whatever those gangs. I want them to also keep take into consideration, again, the many innocent lives that have been lost. And we know, Mr. Chairman, that Haiti is not suffering this from now. This started back in 1825 when, as one of the smallest countries in this hemisphere, they were able to defeat the British, Spanish, and the British, Spanish, and the Portuguese armies, and became the first truly independent nation. So I want to remember them, Mr. Chairman, and let us pray that they too will be able to come to some kind of peaceful solution. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, MP George. There are no more notifications. The agenda point for this public meeting is update on all matters related to TELEM under document IS/169/2022-23, dated November 7, 2022, and under document IS/869/2022-23, dated June 19th of 2023. Agenda point 1 was requested by MP Heyliger-Marten and MP Melissa Gumbs and MP Solange Duncan. We go over to the agenda point 1. On November 7, 2022, Parliament received a letter from members of Parliament Heyliger-Marten, Gumbs, and Duncan with the request that an urgent public meeting of Parliament be convened in the presence of Prime Minister for an update on the following points. 1. Update on the original SOAV report of 2021 on TELEM. Agenda point 2, update on the financial status and overall fiber to home project. Agenda point 3, update on the state of affairs related to the concerns about the working environment at TELEM as expressed by the Telecommunication Union. Under document IS/641/2021-22 and under a document IS-169/2022-23 dated November 7, 2022. Later on, June 19, 2023, Parliament received an email correspondence from MP Heyliger-Marten on behalf of MP Gumbs and MP Duncan with the request that these 3 agenda points be merged into one single agenda point, update on all matters related to TELEM. The members of Parliament also request that the speaking time be extended to 25 minutes in the first round and 15 minutes in the second round. This document is registered as an incoming document IS/869/2022-23 dated June 19, 2023 and can be found on the Parliament General Team. The request to extend the speaking time of agenda point 1 in the first round and 15 minutes in the second round was honored. The meeting was convened on June 22, 2023, during which MP Heyliger-Marten, one of the requesters of this meeting, was given the opportunity to elucidate the request, and the Prime Minister, Ms. Sylvia Jacobs, provided some introductory remarks and presentation. In accordance with the speakers list, members of Parliament were then given the opportunity to pose questions to the Prime Minister in the first round of the agenda point 1. Agenda point 1 was then adjourned to allow the Prime Minister time to prepare the answers to the questions posed by the members of Parliament in the first round of agenda point 1. The meeting continued on September 1st, 2023, during which the Prime Minister and Minister of General Affairs, Ms. Sylvia Jacobs, provided the answer to the questions posed by members of Parliament in the first round. The members of Parliament posed questions in the second round. The meeting was once again adjourned to allow the Minister time to prepare the answers to the questions posed by the members of Parliament. Today, the Prime Minister and Minister of General Affairs, Ms. Sylvia Jacobs, has returned to Parliament to provide the answers to the questions posed by members of Parliament in the second round. At this time, I give the floor to the Honorable Prime Minister, Minister of General Affairs, Ms. Sylvia Jacobs, to answer the questions posed by the members of Parliament in the second round. Prime Minister, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good afternoon to you. Good afternoon to your colleagues here in Parliament. Good afternoon to the Griffier, the support staff of the Parliament, as well as my support staff here with me from the Secretariat of COM, as well as the Cabinet. Mr. Chairman, I've taken note of the request made by the Member of Parliament regarding elucidation of the situation that was presented, and I double-checked, and there was a letter sent to the Parliament on October 2nd giving that explanation. Based on that, and I can further state that once further information is made available, that will be shared with Parliament. So that was immediately shared once the Council had been brought abreast of the direction management and board were taking. So I hope we're checking the incoming documents. Maybe you can confirm whether it was received or not with your secretariat. The questions as were posed, follow-up questions from MP Heyliger-Marten. What are the limitations of IntegraTouch and why was a whole new system needed? IntegraTouch, and again, these answers, for the most part, have been provided by TELEM's management. IntegraTouch is not a full CRM, but a trouble ticket program. It lacked all the features required by the organization as per the RFP. For example, business intelligence module, among others. Additionally, the CEO, being an IT expert, did not feel comfortable with a custom-written program that can only be serviced by one company. The risk to TELEM is far greater when using custom-written in place of off-the-shelf programs. The further statements, Mr. Chairman, were the MP's statements of opinion, and I will not be repeating those. The other question, as was noted, was that 70% of the homes passed on the Dutch side. Can the PM indicate what areas make up the 30% of homes passed, and is there a budget for it? I would expect you mean the 30% not passed. Areas that still need home pass installation are certain areas within Pelican Key, Dutch Quarter Union Farm, Lowlands, Sucker Garden Phase 2, Defiance, South Reward, Maho, Indigo, Bay, K-Bay area, Belvedere, Bel Air, K-Hill, Don Beach, and Oyster Pond Phase 2, and Pond Island. The previous homes passed consists also of sections of the areas mentioned. TELEM has all the required material to provide connectivity to the entire island. If the labor is executed by the staff, the majority of the project will be realized. TELEM does not have the budget to have the work executed by contractors. Is currently in discussion with sister company GEBE to collaborate on the various topics, including fiber to the home, in terms of collaboration with the trenching, etc. What is meant by the project being stagnant due to staff? What is the issue? What is management doing to overcome it? Which staff? Management has been faced with a challenge in getting staff to execute the continuation of the fiber to the home project, although it was always the idea that staff would engage in the project once the international contractor left. The contractor executed multiple trainings to prepare staff to be able to take over the project. And the staff, supported by the union, feels that engaging in this project is not within their job description, so that would be the reason why they're reluctant. And management is busy tackling this problem and hopes to come to an amicable solution that will lead to the finalization of the project with staff involvement. And management is not going to be sharing which staff that is via this public platform. The IntegraTouch, the MP asked how long has it been operational and what benefits did the company get thus far. The IntegraTouch billing system or project is still ongoing. Once completed, the organization will have increased flexibility. Along with Microsoft CRM, they will be able to utilize data mining and Microsoft Buy to do advanced analytics to better serve customers. All telecom companies are shifting to digital service providers, which is the business model driven by customer feedback. This necessitates data mining and business analytics. So apparently the existing system was quite cumbersome with several systems being online. And so what it's trying to do is to streamline this, which has been a system or the multiple systems in place that were created over the past 20 years. They've also trained project management office and local staff to be able to manage all the new projects and programs. And with them coming online, with the new programs coming online, it will be much more efficient. And they're expected to go live around the end of the first quarter in 2024. Is the airport area connection, the MP said that in the airport area, connection sometimes drops. What is the company doing to fix these drop zones? To fill in dark zones will entail budgetary levels that the organization, all dark zones would be quite costly and not sustainable for the organization. The cost for putting up one cell site is roughly around $200,000, along with the rent, utilities, and maintenance that is also included. Management is looking at other creative ways to fill these dark zones, such as microcells and collaboration with property owners to bring down the cost. How soon is the 360-degree method going to be implemented was the final question of this Member of Parliament. Currently, the organization is busy with a complete reevaluation and redesign of the organization. The 360 evaluation is planned for the second and or third quarter of 2024. MP Emmanuel asked or made some comments, which we have taken note of, and then went on to ask or make a statement. And internet is subsidized on the French side, to whom? Hospital, airport, government, private citizens. Who is subsidizing this? Government, a French company. Several questions related to that. The French government subsidizes telecoms. As far as we are aware, request for further information was sought. However, we do not have any details on how exactly the subsidies are being done by the French government. The Mer case is still in court. The case, he's asking at which level, and mentions that the case was settled and Mer won that case. TELEM's management and Mer decided to forego the court case, so not go to court, and place the case before a mediator. I think I said this answer before. MP isn't here. I don't know if I need to repeat it, but it was mentioned in the first go-around that Mer had requested a payment at $18 million from TELEM. TELEM requested a payment of $6 million from Mer. The mediator ruled that TELEM has to pay roughly $3.7 million, which is about $2 million more than TELEM actually recognized in their files. The extra $2 million has to be invoiced by Mer, so they do not have that amount invoiced, so that needs to still be invoiced by Mer. The same as all the other previous invoices, which Mer has failed to do. TELEM has therefore taken the case to the appeal court in the Netherlands to put aside the decision of the mediator. The result should be known before the end of the year, and TELEM has made provisions for the total payout, so it is budgeted for should they lose the case. The MP further asked how many loans were taken out for the Fiber to the Home project, the value, and some other financial questions that will not be answered in this forum as it is confidential. What districts are being chosen first for the project? We assume that the MP means the Fiber to the Home project, and TELEM chooses districts based on the quality of the current copper network. If the copper network is damaged or is of poor quality, that is one of the criteria that moves a district to the top of the list. Also, the availability of underground pipes and the complexity of the installation plays a role. Ultimately, the cost is the determining factor. MP Emmanuel further asked how much was Mer paid before the contract was terminated, how many districts were connected for the fee from Mer, and how much did TELEM have to pay. Again, in terms of that, it's confidential information, and there's still a court case pending on these amounts. Question 6 from the MP was how much, I'm not going to read it in that way. Wanted to know how much TELEM has to pay the contractors that were working on the MER, and how was the same contract used and signed by the contractor of KN, how much was KN paid, and how many districts were connected by them. TELEM did not have to pay any contractors that were working for MER. Their agreements were with MER and had to be taken care of that way. What TELEM decided to do was to purchase the debt from MER and pay the contractors because they were waiting their payments for over 2 years, and there was no end in sight. Instead of them waiting for the completion of the court proceedings, TELEM, in consultation with lawyers, decided to buy the debt from the contractors. The amount of the contract is confidential. Were all of the homes ready to be connected, houses, buildings, and if not, why not? I believe the clarification of home passed and homes connected more than likely would satisfy that question, because that's how it was understood. If not, then possibly it can be submitted in writing. Seeing that this is the end of the second round, can the Prime Minister explain why 2 companies were chosen for this project, MER and KN? Why is the company MER using the same technology as KN, as well as mentioning that KN worked or was doing fiber for flow? Is that giving away strategic assets and strategic information to the competition? There were no 2 companies chosen for the project. MER, after several letters of notice to correct were sent, was not able to comply with the terms in the contract, and TELEM was forced to end that relationship to safeguard the project. KN Surset was one of the 3 companies that participated in a subsequent bid after the cancellation of the MER contract and won said bid. All the fiber to the home contractors use similar technologies. TELEM is unaware of KN's contract or doing any work for Flow. Question 9, can the Prime Minister explain the role of Heyliger-Marten? Is she still at the company? What's her role? Whether she's using CFO above the office, etc. I thought I answered this already as well. Ms. Etnell is working as a consultant during the handover period due to her knowledge of various running projects such as fiber to the home, finance, and the court cases. Mrs. Etnell does not enjoy her benefits as the CFO any longer, and Mr. Randall Hato is the new CFO and retains all the responsibility and benefits of the position. To get Starlink, you have to put in a French address, okay, a whole story about Starlink. Can the Prime Minister provide information about the fastness of the speed, whether that would be download or upload? The average speed, as far as I was made to understand, provided by Starlink is 200 MBs. This speed is supposed to be as well for down and uploading, as far as we were able to find out. But we were also told that with more persons joining it, that the speed would inevitably slow down. A question was asked whether the Minister of TEAT met with Starlink. From the Minister, I was able to ascertain that there was no meeting with anyone from Starlink. 12, can Prime Minister explain who regulates internet on the island? What is TELEM's basic package? Is it true that all managers get free packages from TELEM? It is a responsibility of BTP to regulate the telecommunications on the island. Although data is not regulated by law, maybe Parliament is something that we can tackle here at Parliament in how to regulate data. TELEM basic internet package is 25 MB download, 10 MB upload for $55 per month. TELEM basic mobile postpaid package is 12 gigabytes, 900 on-net minutes, and 100 off-net minutes, and 300 SMS for $50 per month. All TELEM staff get to choose a service from the TELEM group packages that is complimentary, not just managers. So all staffers can opt to choose which service they would have as complementary. MP Gumbs asks, what is the plan for the SMPR1 and the parameters of the RFP? TELEM is currently busy in Puerto Rico adjusting the permit to allow for a different kind of mooring method as well as additional cable length. TELEM is also busy with a second repair vessel as a backup if the current vessel cannot execute the work by the end of the year. TELEM was assisted with the RFP for this billing program by an external consultant. That's all the questions I had in the last round of questions, Mr. Chairman, and I appreciate the opportunity to give some responses as have been provided by our telecom. Thank you.
Thank you, Prime Minister. I look to my left with members of parliament if they have any point of clarification, and I see MP Grisha Heyliger-Marten has one. MP
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Is it really working? Okay. I hope it's on, but anyway. Mr. Chairman, thank you. Thank you. Through you, Mr. Chairman, I'd like to thank the Prime. It's not on? Should I hold off or? It's not on. Testing, testing, 1, 2, 3. Should I just continue, Mr. Chairman, or? I am speaking in the mic, Mr. Chairman. So should I just remain? Okay.
Let's adjourn for 5 minutes. Meeting adjourned till 1:30. Testing, testing. Is good now? Testing, testing.
Testing, testing, much better.
Welcome back. And now we are on the point of clarification, and the first speaker is MP Grisha Heyliger-Marten. MP Grisha Heyliger-Marten, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm going to still try and speak closer to the mic because it feels, yes, much better. Mr. Chairman, thank you. I'd like to thank the Prime Minister to you for the answers in the second round. I just have 3 clarification questions regarding some of the answers she provided us today. Regarding the Integra Touch, through you, Mr. Chairman, Prime Minister stated in one of the answers that Integra Touch will be completely automated or completely functional by the end of the first quarter of 2024. Now, the Integra Touch is supposed to be like it's supposed to be like a full, complete automation of the finance department. And am I to then conclude in what I was able to gather from the meeting that the TELEM employees had with their management team that will be the bulk of the cuts that's going to be done through this Integra Touch initiation, so that the cuts of the employees will be done primarily through the finance department? Can I conclude that? And the Prime Minister also mentioned that TELEM, and I'm going to try and paraphrase, that TELEM kind of through the court or kind of made an agreement that they would pay the contractors because it would have taken too long for mayor to pay them out. So my question is, the amount that was paid to the contractors, will that now then be deducted by the 3.7 million that is now owed to mayor from the, that was based on what was paid to the contractors? And lastly, I also heard the Prime Minister mention something about the CFO still having consultant, the former CFO being a consultant through a handover period. How long is that handover period, and when would that handover period end? Thank you, Mr. Chairman. That's it for me.
Thank you, MP Grisha Heyliger-Marten. I don't see anyone else for clarification. So, Madam Prime Minister, you got 3 points from MP Grisha Heyliger-Marten. You need some time before answering. Prime Minister, you
Chairman.
have the floor.
Yes, thank you. I'd like to have 15 minutes. I think I should be able to answer the questions, but I have to double check with management before 15 minutes.
Okay, as indicated by the Prime Minister, she needs 15 minutes, so we'll adjourn the meeting until 1:55 p.m. Meeting adjourned till 1:55 p.m. Welcome back. I give the floor to the Honorable Prime Minister and Minister of General Affairs, Ms. Sylvia Jacobs, to answer the point of clarification posed by Member of Parliament in the second round. Prime Minister, you have the floor.
Good afternoon once again, Mr. Chairman. The question or clarifications requested by MP G.S. Heyliger regarding IntegraTouch, whether the cuts of the employment is mainly through the finance department as a result of the initiation of the finalization or the automation of the finance department. Is this conclusion correct? Not entirely. As I mentioned in the first round, the model that TELEM is moving towards is changing to an integrated digital service provider to become more sustainable and therefore ensure the longevity of the company. Should nothing happen, TELEM and its employees would be in trouble. So as such, they have looked at the restructuring to give the opportunity for early retirement as a first step for persons with lots of years of service. And then they will proceed from there. With this integrated system, digital service provider system, there will of course be a need for less persons. However, that doesn't mean that persons who once those opt for the retirement, others will have the opportunity to, let's segue into new jobs, etc. So that is then the next step. So as we look forward and we get further updates from the company in terms of whether employees are taking the opportunity or not, then we'll be able to go into any further discussions on that. The next question related to the agreement of buying out the debt that MER owed to the contractors. The amount that was paid will definitely be deducted from whatever the conclusion of the court decides. So if it is that TELEM has to pay, it will be deducted. If it is that MER has to pay, it would be added. And the former CFO is still working on a few projects, specific projects on a part-time basis until the end of this year. So the contract will end by the end of this year, hopefully wrapping up the specific projects that she's currently working on. So that's the update I have for the Member of Parliament and the general public, and I thank you for the opportunity once more to be able to clarify and to wish each and all a very safe weekend.
Thank you, Prime Minister. We have come to the end of the deliberations on this agenda point. I would like to thank the Honorable Prime Minister and Minister of General Affairs, Ms. Sylvia Jacobs, and her support staff for their presence here today and for providing the necessary information. Ladies and gentlemen, we have come to the end of this public meeting. I thank you all for your participation, and I hereby close this meeting.